time, there was a queue. All the peoples of the world were lined up. There was the Belgian, the French, the Catalonians, the Danish, the Egyptians. There was the Arapaho, the Flemish Walloons. And at the very tail end were the Cornish. There they stood, awaiting their turn. There was Big Boy Jan, and there was the Mauser, there was Trevor, and there was Ginny. There was Petra, Austin, Ruin, Hilary, Dominic, Mattern, Jenna, and Piran. This queue stretched away into the distance, and there, 3 or 4 hillsides away, sat God himself. And at his waist was the cornucopia, the horn of plenty, from which he pulled wondrous gifts and bestows them on the grateful peoples of the world. Right on, says Piran, should be our turn directly. But time passed, and still the queue seemed to stretch on forever. Here, chap could die of thirst waiting for this queue to move, Jack. Tell you what, said Piran, how don't us have a bit of fun while we're waiting? We could have a proper job Cornish feast. We could bang drums and march up and down playing music. How don't we have a giant battle? We could drive steam engines down the middle of the road. We could chase a great airy beast. We could have rugby and hurling and wrestling. Us could always have a sing-song. We could have a bit of a hal and tug. We could have some wild bash. And off went the whole crowd of them to have their feast. They marched up and down playing music. They danced in the streets. They had a procession of steam engines. They played rugby and had hurling and wrestling and a giant battle. They had a great hobbyos and plenty to eat and drink. All together, 'twas some wild bash. Suddenly, Piran noticed the largest pair of open-toed sandals you ever seed. God Almighty himself had come to check out where the Cornish had got to. Oh, my dear life, says Piran, there's Ludgman joining in the dancing. Ludgman? I told you to keep our place in the queue. Oh, my wicked, wicked children, says God. The appointed hour arrived, and the Cornish were not there. And now there is no land for the Cornish. Oh, bugger, says Piran. Fancy a pint, God? Well, it has been rather a long day. Perhaps just a quick half. So they pulled God a pint. Well, after the first pint, God thought he'd squeeze in a second one. And the second pint turned into a third. And the third one turned to a fourth. Tell you what, says God, I wouldn't mind having a go at that myself. Before long, he was up and frolicking with the rest of them. Eyes, I love you, and the little eyes, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Well, after God had tried his hand at dancing and playing the instruments and wrestling and hurling and having a gay time, and he'd had plenty to eat and drink, he bespoke again. Look, everybody, I'm sorry about the whole no land for the Cornish business. I'll tell you what I'll do. Seeing as you sing like the seraphim, I'm going to make you all saints. What? Saint Piran? Saint Petra? Saint Austin? St. Ruin? St. Hilary? St. Dominic? St. Matter? Saint Zenner? Right on, says the Cornish. Right on! But as the Almighty left the festivities, he tripped, he fell. The horn of plenty, the cornucopia, snapped from his belt and traced an arc spinning through the air and added kersplatch, spilling all its gifts out into the ocean. So, by the time the Cornish came out to pick God up and brush him off, they found themselves looking out at the most beautiful horn-shaped land stretching out into the bluest of oceans. Precious gems and metals fizzed and fused. Great granite fists punched up skyward. Golden firs and purple heather tumbled down above wild cliffs and enchanted coves where lobsters play and fishes splashed. And God looked out over that horn-shaped land. Go on then, says the Almighty Creator. It's yours. Picture the vase. Go forth and multiply. Right on. Just promise me one thing. you will never stop singing and dancing and playing music and feasting. And that is why, to this day, life is a Cornish feast.